Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stand. What is Amorim doing? What am I doing? I'm starting this video from the actual hotel room. We're in Central Park. That's meant to be the start, but I just want to say, hang about, because in Central Park, I didn't know what Amorim was doing about wanting a quick, silky winger / number 10. So we're talking about that. We'll also talk about Rooney's top 3 players of this season so far, and he hasn't got the lit in there. I'll see you in a minute. Hello everybody, welcome to the United Stands. I'm Mark Goldbridge and I'm in Central Park today with your latest Manchester United news. Is Amorim losing it? Some people on social media think he is. Going up the backside of Sir Jim Ratcliffe, talking about formations again. But where I am at the moment is actually, I think it's called Bathstair Park or something like that. Famously from Home Alone, this is where I think he gets on the carriage and when he's being chased by the robbers, the little shits. Also Ransom, very good film. You might remember that. I think there's a balloon and the kid goes missing. And the lesser known Free Willy Lost in Central Park, which is not about that big black and white dolphin thing. It's actually a sinister porno. But we're not here to talk about anything sinister. We're here to talk about Manchester United. We're also going to be talking about Man United being linked to Gehi. We're also going to be talking about Xerxes. Sesko's injury, according to Romano, will not be as significant as we thought. He'll be back for early December, apparently. But he's still going to miss a few games, isn't he? But I want to start off talking about Amorim because that's not him in the background wearing a wig, by the way. I think it's a tourist. There's lots of them in New York. Yeah, so he's basically been talking about how, Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming out and in the last international break, not this international break, in the last international break, Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming out and saying that, you know, he was backing him for 3 years, really helped the team get performance and really helped him. I disagree to a certain extent. I think that's just a little bit of playing the game. And I've seen a few people saying on social media that with regards to Ruben Amorim, you know, he's gone a little bit diluted from where he was maybe at the end of last season, talking about the worst ever Manchester United side, talking about being a little bit more honest about transfers and where we're at, whereas he's come back from the summer and he's a little bit more up in Ineos's arse. He's a little bit more, you know, positive about United doing more with less. But I think that happened with Ten Hag. It certainly happened with Ollie all the time. These managers, you got to know how to play the game at the end of the day. I mean, I'd love it if Amorim was always being honest, but there actually is reason to be positive at the moment. So I don't buy into some of the social media negativity. What I would say is that when he says that Sir Jim Ratcliffe coming out and saying, at the end of the day, you're going to get 3 years, I thought that was fortuitous. I think as a manager, you're always very happy about that because it gives you support, of course, but you know, if Gakpo had scored those goals against Liverpool, we might have got a draw or lost. In which case, Sir Jim Ratcliffe hasn't got a crystal ball. And if he did, he'd probably use it to stir his bucket of champagne. So I don't really think that, you know, the manager coming out and saying you've got 3 years was actually ridiculed by a lot of people. So yeah, you know, and all owners back their manager. But what I did like about what Amorim said was about the formation. It's nothing about the formation, and I know Beth spoke about this morning, but that's just basically sitting down a lot of people and saying that, you know, it was a, you know, formation, you know, all this talk he needs to, at the end of the day, he needs to change his formation, and I don't think he did need to change his formation. This is such an iconic background. I can't believe, like, Home Alone, not Star Wars. Yeah, the stormtroopers are going to come out the tunnel. Not going in my tunnel. Anyway, yeah, it's a lovely, lovely day here in Central Park. I might just walk around a little bit. Yeah, but anyway, as I was saying, I think with regards to Ruben Amorim, it was never about formation. It's about confidence. And what he said is we're not dropping points because of formation either. We're dropping points because of loss of concentration, inconsistency, mentality, which we've already always known about, to be completely honest, haven't we? So I think he's absolutely spot on about that. What else? Look, it was an interesting interview from Amorim. We've got a good run of games. The positivity needs to flow. I want to do a little preview of Everton at some point while I'm still here in New York, even though we're not playing till Monday. But I think, you know, get your comments in below. I mean, you know, Amorim being a little bit more positive, the results are more positive. I'd like to see him being a little bit more honest about transfers. I don't actually want a manager that doesn't ask questions of our owners. And yeah, Sir Jim Ratcliffe can say any manager's getting 3 years, but you've got to put your hand in your pocket. You can't just sit there and go, I'm giving you 3 years. And a manager can't just sit there and go, oh, that really helped. As soon as the results go bad, let's see if he gives you 3 years, pal. And you need good results, so you're going to need good signings. with regards to Gehi, yeah, enough of that. Get back in here, because I want to talk about Amorim. I want to talk about this electric, skillful and fast winger / number 10 that apparently he wants, according to Fabrizio Romano. Now, this is all coming from this Adeyemi story, where Fabrizio says nothing concrete at the moment, but Amorim does want somebody who's skillful, fast and electric. And I don't think that, all those things. I mean, I've got to ask the question, why? I was saying this in the work chat today. I was saying why, and the Beth just kept saying Semenyo, and I said why, and she kept saying Semenyo, and I said that's not an answer to why. Why do we need another winger? But I'll be a hypocrite there, because I did say let's sign Adeyemi. But what I have to say is that I like Adeyemi. That's why I would like to sign him. I don't actually agree that it's a target that Manchester United need to go for. I think we need 2 centre midfielders. Arguably 2 wing backs, left and right, certainly a backup striker, maybe even a centre back. But it's interesting because it's coming in from Romano, but it's interesting because I don't think it's necessarily Semenyo. I think most of the Semenyo talk has always been off the menu, made up by crap sources. Basically, we were never in talks with him last summer, and people said we were, because we got our 2 priorities, which were Cunha and Mbeumo. How can you be in talk with Semenyo? We were apparently Man United are in advanced talks with Semenyo. How could we be? We got what we wanted, but it doesn't mean that we won't go in for Semenyo. And we all know what's been reported about release clauses. But I think it will be somebody else anyway. I don't think it will be him. I think he'll be too expensive for a player that's not actually a priority for what Man United need. So I don't dismiss it. I'm never going to dismiss Man United doing something that's not what you expect. I mean, if we want a quick, pacey, electric, whatever else, number 10 winger, then that's... I mean, the winger is quite interesting because we don't need a winger unless it's been misinterpreted that it's a wing back, in which case, that's absolutely fine. We've got Ahmad playing on the right, so in which case that could be quite useful. But it's certainly going to be one to keep an eye on. But look, as long as it's not a priority, I think the priority has got to be 2 midfielders. I've seen all the bloody clips again of Casemiro playing well for Brazil, and everyone's going, he's cooking. Well, you know what? I just get so tired of it. Answer me this question then. Why didn't Casemiro play well for the last 2 years? Why is he suddenly playing well now? Oh, it's because he's trimmed down and because Amorim's unlocked his potential. Oh, come on. The guy's 33. What do you mean he's unlocked his potential? Why is Casemiro suddenly starting to play really well again? Is it because it's international football? Or is it because his contract's running out? Or is it just a coincidence? I mean, look, at the end of the day, we need 2 midfielders. I'm not convinced by Casemiro, and it's a bit scary that, he's playing well at the moment, and Amorim apparently wants him to stay, because if he does get a new contract, as I say, the Willian effect, it would worry me. So I want 2 midfielders before I don't mind us going for an Adeyemi or a Semenyo or whoever else it might be we're looking at, but I think we need to go for a midfielder, 2 midfielders first, and potentially a centre-back. I mean, if Harry Maguire's not going to sign that new contract, then we're going to need another centre-back as well. But it is interesting, and I think that, we've seen more stories again about Man United being happy with their midfield, and they might not do anything in January. If we don't do anything with the midfield in January, then we're run by a bunch of prats. You can't be happy with your midfield when you're relying on a number 10, a 33-year-old, and 2 players in Agate and Mainu that never play. That's not a balanced midfield. That's just numbers and saving money. I'll say that to anybody. That's not about we don't need to do anything in the midfield because we've got a balanced midfield. We haven't got a balanced midfield. We've got a number 10, a 33-year-old, and then 2 people that aren't playing. That's not a balanced midfield. That's about saving money till the summer. Do your job. Let Mainu go. Bring someone else in. That's what needs to happen in January. It has to happen in January. So give me your thoughts on that. Also, wanted to talk very, very quickly. Wayne Rooney's top. This is caused, I don't know. Stateside, I've seen it a bit. I don't know what about you lot, but Wayne Rooney's given his top 3 players of the Premier League so far. What's that got to do with Man United? Well, he said Gyökeres, Mbeumo and Semenyo were his top 3 players of the year so far. It's all about opinion, people. Get your top 3 Premier League players of the season so far in. Some people are massively disagreeing with it. I've got to say, if we're talking Premier League, for me, it's obviously Erling Haaland. He's got to be in there, definitely. I think Gabriel of Arsenal's got to be in there. Away from Man United, they're the 2 players that I think have been, amazing this season. And there has been some, I don't know how you can put Gyökeres in there. I like Gyökeres, but I don't think he's been a player of the season. I mean, actually, I don't know what Rooney was thinking about with that. And I like Gyökeres. Semenyu's been decent for Bournemouth, certainly, and Mbeumo's been good for us. But honestly, it's De Ligt from Man United, Erling Haaland from Man City, and Gabriel for Arsenal, who has been incredible. That would be my top 3 anyway. So let me know your thoughts on that. But it is all about opinion. And if Rooney didn't have that opinion, then we wouldn't be having a debate about who the top 3 players are. And I think it's a good one. But yeah, De Ligt's been our best player for me, 100%. Anyway, lots for you to get your teeth into there. What did you think about Amorim's comments? What did you think about this Romano talking about a winger? And give us your top 3 as well. Thanks everyone for watching. Hope you enjoyed the Central Park. Don't go and check out Free Willy Lost in Central Park. It's been discontinued and banned in most countries. You'll never find it. Speak to you all in a bit. Take care.